Hey everyone, welcome to Abstract Boss. So this project was huge. It was a lot of fun. Now this is on canvas. It is 4 feet tall by 3 feet wide. And the first thing that I'm doing here is I'm taking my colors that I found a really nice color scheme from Pinterest. I have a board that I just kind of save a bunch of that stuff to. And I found some colors that looked really nice together that I thought would make a really cool sunset looking background for the elephant. And so what I'm doing is I'm just doing the flip cup and drag and, just pulling it all around the canvas as much as possible to fill up around the elephant. I removed the contact paper from all around the elephant and I just left it on top of the elephant at this point. And at the bottom, I'm adding a black background. I didn't know it at the time, but I decided that I did not like it. It was just too plain. So I did end up changing that in the long run, which you guys will see here in a bit. And then I started gold leafing. So I used the Speedball Mona Lisa size. It's an adhesive size. If you guys are interested in getting that, you can go to abstractboss.com/materials, and I have all this stuff listed there. And I love it. It's awesome because you put it on and then you let it dry for about 20 minutes and you can actually feel that it is tacky, and that's the perfect time to leaf. So that is what I'm doing here with all of these. I put it on, and then I let it dry. Or if you forget to let it dry and you put your gold leafing on right away, then you can let all of it dry before you try to remove your gold leafing whatsoever. You don't want to do it while it's wet, otherwise it will drag and your hands are going to get super sticky and it's just not fun. So now I've moved on to trying out different things for the shading of my elephant. I had a bronze paint that I really just did not like in comparison to the gold leafing because it really didn't stand out. It was super flat. So what I'm doing now is I ordered this unique color, is like a champagne gold for the gold leafing. And so now it looks darker. And I added that in and I'm loving it. So I kept going with that. And then I realized, well, where this bronze was, that's the brown color that you guys see, I still needed something a little different. And so I wasn't quite sure what to do with that. I did try rose gold. I did not like it whatsoever. So you guys will see me soon cover up that rose gold completely. Now, when you are removing the gold leafing, you use a soft brush, and I just kind of go at it with different angles. And if you are wearing gloves, you're going to have a less likeliness of all that gold leafing stick to you. So I would actually recommend gloves. I know I just get tired sometimes and I forget to put them on. So I do recommend it though. Definitely makes things a whole heck of a lot easier working with gold leafing because it doesn't stick as often. The oils from your hands are very, very clingy. So here I'm just filling in the rest of the ear, and I'm going to keep going, add some more leafing, and work with the different colors. Now, once everything is applied, you just keep working in different sections. So first off, I did the bottom leg areas, and then I did the ear, and then I did the top of the head, and then the left ear, and then I went down to the nostril, the nice long trunk there. Now, I also didn't realize that I was going to end up covering so much of it with the glitter, but that's besides the point. Just work your way up, and I did notice that with the adhesive size, you can actually leave some really nice fine lines to add texture into your pieces as long as you have a different color that you're adding. And again, I added that champagne gold versus just the normal gold, and it made such a big difference. Okay, so once you get it all removed, just go ahead and tilt it down, get all that extra gold leafing off. If you are finding that a lot of it is coming up, then you're going to want to place your sealer. Do the Mona Lisa Speedball sealer, seal all that gold leafing down, and then apply some more. All right, so here what I'm doing is I'm just adding in those fine lines in addition to covering up that rose gold. Remember I mentioned before that I got the rose gold to be able to cover the copper? Well, even that wasn't It wasn't good. Nothing was good enough for me on this piece. And so I kept hanging it back up on my wall and then just deciding, I'm just going to wait until my inspiration comes to me and I realize what needs to be done. And so personally, I just realized that it didn't need to have such a darker shading. And so I ended up covering all of that with my champagne gold, which is what was the dark areas of all the rest of the elephant as well. So here I taped off the tusks because those I want to be white. I don't want the glitter to get on them. And then I am using paper and just varying it at different angles to create some sort of like zigzag. That way it kind of helps offset one, straight line. And then I'm just taping together those papers just to make sure that they're not going to go flying up when I'm spraying down the glue. I use the E6000 spray, and I'm just spraying it everywhere that's underneath this paper. And I guess if you guys are going to try to copy this project, I would say to wipe the trunk off at this point. It would make it a little bit easier. But what I'm doing is I'm pouring glitter in the funnel, and then I am allowing that to just sort of pour out quickly in bursts and lines. And so that created a really cool texture, or not texture, but an effect of the elephant running through the glitter. So the glitter is like the dust that's being kicked up. And then I just kept adding different colors and going for it. I added in like a maroon and a bronze and like an orangish bronze and a really nice light gold, which ended up being kind of like that champagne color from the elephant. So it really helped tie the whole piece together. So once that was done, I removed the paper and the towel. And what I did was I just lifted up the canvas and tilted it down so that way all that extra glitter could come off. And then just give it a tap a couple times so that way it really knocks off all that loose glitter. And then when you lay it back down, if you have any harsh lines, add a little bit more of that spray glue and sprinkle some glitter. And boom, there you go. That's exactly what I was doing. And it worked out beautifully. And then you could remove the tape from the tusks. And after that, you can, by hand, paint the white paint and then add that glitter right on top. So paint and glitter, and then that white glitter does blow off pretty easily, so I wasn't having any issues with that. And then the canvas is now ready for cleaning and resin. So you just want to go ahead and level it as best as possible. I do put a leveler out there and level every single side as best as possible. I did have to bring a second table in because the painting was so big it was hanging off my first table. So just make sure you guys are not doing this on like half a table. That would not work. But I'm using baby powder to clean my canvas, and you just want to do that before you put any type of finish on it, because if you're putting resin or even a spray, anything like that, you're going to have issues with that silicone acting against those chemicals. So make sure that everything's cleaned, and then you go ahead and tape off the edges. So you guys can see that I use the leveler and taping, make sure that I created some sort of dam for that resin to go in for now. And especially since it's such a big piece, you don't want any extra resin to be wasted. Now, initially I measured out 24 ounces, so 12 ounces of resin and 12 ounces of the hardener, and this is art resin, and it was not enough. I needed more, and so my husband measured out another 12 ounces, so 6 of the resin, 6 of the hardener, and that seem to be a nice, good coat, but sometimes when you're working with things with like silicone underneath, or even if it's not a thick enough layer, it would stretch apart and create holes. So because I'm recording this while it's curing, I can't say if that happened. I've checked on it a couple times and it's been about 4 or 5 hours and I haven't had any issues yet, but just something to keep in mind that when you're pouring resin, make sure it's a nice thick coat. And then after about 1 hour is when I went ahead and removed the tape, so that way the tape is not going to have any issues once that resin is cured. And I do use my hands to spread it around because I have gloves on. And then instead of using a blowtorch on this, because it is such a big canvas, I was afraid that I would have lingered on one spot for too long and would have burnt the resin. So I used a heat gun and made sure that all my bubbles were out and moved the resin around that way. And then on the final part, you just want to make sure that there's no spaces where the resin seems to be separating. Otherwise, add some extra resin in there. Let it sit. Try to cover it if you can. Unfortunately, the resin cover that I have would have only covered to about the second tusk there, and then that was it. So I didn't want the tablecloth to drape inside of that because that's what I used to cover my resin pieces. So unfortunately with this piece, I'm kind of just crossing my fingers and hoping. But we'll see what happens. And then I will show you guys a picture on Instagram and Facebook once this whole piece is cured and I can set it up to take a really nice posed picture. So if you guys enjoyed this project, please give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, because my entire heart went into this and I would love it if you guys left me a comment letting me know what you guys thought of this whole project. And if you have any questions, I'm fairly certain that I went through everything here, but I will help you guys out as much as possible. And good luck on your future art endeavors. I'll see you guys on my next video.